Hi, I'm Shelby with Beyond the High Road Coaching, and I thought it would be nice to go over who I am and why I do what I do, and then, of course, why I think that I would be a valuable tool for you. I'm a post-traumatic growth coach who specializes in helping alienated parents and people going through high conflict custody situations. I am a targeted parent myself. I spent the better part of 12 years going through a pretty severe case of alienation with all of the strategies present. My daughter was my life. She is my life. My daughter is my life. I went through a long period of time where I was in a very deep depression and didn't even know it. And I was the parent that had the most amazing attorney who gave me the most amazing advice, and I ended up cracking under the pressure and made decisions that ended up hurting me in the long run and making my custody case very, very challenging and very, very expensive. So basically, I have gone through it and made all the wrong decisions and learned a whole bunch in the process. One of my lowest points during the alienation, I was sitting in my therapist's office, and I swore if and when I got through it and to the other side, that I was going to do everything I could to help other parents like me. So that's exactly what I've done. I went back to school. I attended 2 different coaching programs, 2 different ones because each school boasted completely different schools of thought. And so Erickson International was actually one of the first coaching schools. It was a school that Tony Robbins went to. Although it was great education, it was great information, I just wanted more. And so that's when I devoted the next year to getting educated at the life coach school, which has drastically changed the way that I coach and the way that I think and the way that I deal with my own alienation. The tools that I've learned there are just been so critical to my healing process. A broad way to describe what I do is to say that I help my clients move from a place of victimhood into a place of empowerment. Although the alienated parent and the alienated child are definitely, no question about it, are victims. They're victims of abuse. But there is the acknowledgement of being a victim of something. Then there's being a victim to it, living in the victim mentality. And this is where most of us get stuck, right? As alienated parents, because it's a recurring offense, right? Every day, or if their child is showing signs of alienation syndrome, then it's an everyday event. Parents that are living without their children know it the most, and I liken it to as if your child has been abducted or has died even, but every day you wake up and they're still there, or it's happening again. There's no closure, right? There's a constant wondering about what might be happening with their child, how school is, what their friendships are like, all of the above, right? So there's so much trauma that an alienated parent has been through and is going through. So no doubt there is a sense of victimhood when they begin. But my goal is, by the end, after moving through the entire 12 weeks, they will now be living in their power and knowing the choices that they can make, even with living with the alienation. So they go from a sense of being a victim and victimhood into a place of power. They always have a choice. And so that is, if I can say that there was one main goal or benefit that my clients receive from the 12 weeks with me, that is the one. They go from victim mentality into a place of power, into knowing who they are and how they want to show up in the world and how they want to contribute to the society, who else that they want to help, however that works out for them. That, to me, is life-changing, and it changes your whole case with them. Because when they are in a place of power and making decisions, even just the simple act of making decisions with clarity and in integrity, the whole dynamic of the case changes. I've spoken to many attorneys over the last few years in doing my research and making my programs, and wanted to know what their biggest gripes were, right? One of them was the lack of perspective that the client had. In the moment, they are so caught up with how much drama and how much trauma is going on that they lack the ability to pull back and take a look at the whole picture. And so this is something that I also work with pretty intensively with them, so that they can take all of the facts and the facts only and take the drama away from it and be able to then assess the situation from there. I find that this helps my clients in their healing process, but it's also very, very helpful to you, the attorney. It helps on the workload. There's no more midnight calls. Emails back and forth are substantially less. And even testimony appear a lot clearer and a lot more polished as a result. We work on the body stress response and how to move through it. I think you've probably experienced when your client is on the stand and they become defensive or visibly agitated, or they forget the events that have happened, and then come off looking either dishonest or anxious. So we spend a good deal of time working on the body stress response, what is happening in the body, what's happening in the brain, and I break it all down scientifically, and then teach them that what is happening is a human response. It's very, very normal. And once we work through their particular drama and let them actually physically process those emotions that they've been holding on to, they're gonna have a much easier time up on the stand or in deposition or even in describing certain events to you. On daily practices, which, let's face it, most divorcing parents, high conflict or not, usually do pick up one or two unhealthy habits along the way. And so being able to address those things with them, why it is the parent has adopted those habits, right? Most of the time, it's because they need a release of all the pressure, right? They need to decompress, right? So they'll have a glass of wine at night. Or if it's a food habit, there's the shopping habit. And so it's a way that they can sort of reward themselves for what's been going on. And it's a way to sort of forget about the divorce, the discord that's been happening. However, those same things in a high conflict custody case, as you know, can and will be used against your client, potentially my client, and teach them new ways to decompress or check out, if you will. That alone has saved my past clients and their attorneys so much headache in the long run. So that they can actually have an urge to do something. They can feel the feeling of having an urge, and they can allow the urge to be there and not answer it. Is life-changing. There are so many programs out there that tell you that you are powerless over drinking, over shopping, over whatever you fill in the blank. However, I think that we all know that we do have power. It's a matter of claiming that power. So when I used to have an urge, I truly was like, oh, well, I had the urge, that's it, I'm done for. And what I have found out, the most freeing thing, is that I can have the urge and I'm not done for. I don't have to listen to the voice in my head that says I have to do that thing, right? Simple solutions like this are what I teach to my clients that end up helping them, and then, of course, you in the long run. Save everybody a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of work. Helping them to rediscover a sense of purpose, especially for the alienated parents who maybe already doesn't have full custody of the child, whether that's temporary or they're going back for a modification and currently they don't have full-time custody. Those parents often, well, I haven't met one that hasn't. They've lost their sense of purpose, or a big part of them has. So working with them to develop that sense of purpose again, to get to know who they are, to sort of reignite that fire, is also something that I just think is invaluable. It's a 12-week program that I start them off with. And after that 12 weeks, if they do want to continue, then I have a group coaching option where it's just a monthly fee and they join. It's a small group coaching. So I usually have between 5 and 6 or 5 and 8 clients in there. So they have a little camaraderie. It's always been a really positive and fun atmosphere. So there you have it. I'd love to get to know you better and tailor my program to something that would work for your clients or for your law practice. And thanks for spending this time with me. I hope to see you soon.